So move, Your Honor.
Okay, we continue the agenda. And we begin with consent.
Number 35 payroll, 136 drug licenses, payment of fees to state, 137 authorizing refund of overpaid taxes due to a tax court judgment for the year 2011 for block 42, lot 38.01, 138 marriage civil union licenses, payment of fees to state, 139 burial permits, payment of fees to state, 140 authorizing appointment of Joseph Olivo as probationary patrolman, 141 authorizing appointment of Cosmo Marino as probationary patrolman.
Councilwoman Lee, would you like to put the
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Councilman DePisa.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckman.
Yes.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lake.
Yes.
Councilman LaPaglia.
Yes.
Councilman Simmons.
I'm going to vote no on 140 and 141, even though I do like the men who showed up tonight. I don't think it's fair to the taxpayers at this time to do this. And I've requested minutes from the police committee meeting. The commissioner sent me chasing to find out that there are no minutes. And so at this time I'm voting no.
Mayor, I'd like to respond to that comment.
Certainly.
First of all, there are no minutes that are required on subcommittees, which Councilman Simmons may or may not know. Second thing is that he waits till the 11th hour to ask for something that's available much before, and that is, in my estimation, very unfair. And for him to make that public as if it's somebody else's fault is irresponsible.
Mayor, I want to respond to that. First of all,
This will be a tennis match.
First of all, you're not a subcommittee, you're a committee of the council. And as per Robert's rules, all committees are to take minutes. Even on personnel matters which can be put into confidential and given to me. So all committees are required to have minutes.
I'm not going to debate with you. I'm not going to debate with you, but don't make public something that you think will bring something bad to this council as if we're inefficient in some way. You wait until the last minute for everything. And that's not fair to the rest of this council. You should be part of this council. You shouldn't wait till the last minute to ask for things. I think that's very coercive.
I would appreciate it if we would not prolong this. There are important things coming up on the agenda. You have already made your statement that you're not voting for the two people. I would like to now ask for a motion to make the following appointment of Joseph Olivo as probationary patrolman.
Yes, Your Honor. So
May
moved
I have a
with pleasure.
motion?
So moved with pleasure. Yes.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePisa.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckman. Yes. Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lake.
Yes.
Councilman LaPaglia.
Yes.
Councilman Simmons.
No.
And we're going to ask for the next motion to appoint Cosmo Marino as a probationary patrolman. Councilman.
So moved with pleasure, Your Honor.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePisa.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckman. Yes. Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes, I also just want to add that one of these officers, probationary officers, will be replacing someone who retired, and their salary is already in the budget for this year. And the second salary will be paid by the board. So yes.
Councilwoman Lake.
Yes.
Councilman LaPaglia.
Yes.
Councilman Simmons.
No.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Everything's fine. Okay. Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, will you join me?
It's okay, that's the broken one anyway.
That's
Killing my.
Probationary patrolman Olivo, would you come forward?
No, it's the one.
And indeed your family. Somebody's going to hold. Who do you want to hold the Bible?
My dad.
Oh, mother. And
Sister.
who's your name?
That's my sister.
Never short of cameras.
Everybody turn this. Everybody face first.
You get the first shot every time.
Everybody can get on right hand. Are you ready? I, Joseph,
I, Joseph Oliver,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and
to
allegiance
the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of Hasbrouck Heights probationary patrolman
of Hasbrouck Heights probationary patrolman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You have to sign this. Now you can sit down and watch And we'll ask Cosmo, Marino to come forward with his family. Everybody's up close? Come on, you're little. I, Cosmo Marino,
I, Cosmo Marino,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of Hasbrouck Heights probationary patrolman
of Hasbrouck Heights probationary patrolman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, come on back.
That's all done.
That's it.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
I got that. Now, Joe, the two officers in the police. Thank you.
What are we doing?
No, you guys can go. Yeah, Joe, Fritz, Edwin Fritz, your boss.
You mean those guys want it?
No, He wants two new guys.
Oh, the two new guys
Yeah,
together.
we'll show this.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Mark. All right, effort.
Ready, effort.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, guys. Tell me excuse, but I do have a point of personal privilege. I would like to make a statement. I want everyone to know that we have started our political season very early in the borough of Hasbrouck Heights, in some very creative ways. And I take offense that the candidates are using the media in such a way as to cast a shadow on the way this council conducts business and the business of the borough. I have great faith in our borough attorney, our borough administrator, our borough clerk, that all the orders of business have been conducted in such an honorable way. But when you see letters to the editor going in a regional newspaper and a local newspaper, and things going on to blogs, and causing some concern for me as a 50-year resident of the borough of Hasbrouck Heights, and as a 30-year reporter, editor, newspaper person, and knowing that I have seen the business of the borough conducted personally with honor and discretion, and I know that we are conducting this business of the borough fairly and with honor. So for the candidates to cast a shadow on our town is offensive to me personally. And I just want to make certain that people understand the comments made by either a councilman or a council candidate is offensive to me when they make mention of my mayor's report as my diary, my lengthy diary. My diary would be triple my mayor's report. Just remember that I'm a mother of 4 daughters. I have 8 grandchildren. I serve on many boards. I serve as a volunteer on many committees. So my life is very busy by choice. I just don't run for office once every so many years and then make a stir. I conduct myself with honor and integrity, as I know the members of this council for years has done. And I take offense at headlines that say, closed government does not serve the town. It is my intention to speak to the editor of this paper and to say that during this lengthy campaign, that certain things be checked before they're placed in the papers. And certain things that are said here should be discussed, or you can ask the borough attorney. Mr. Attorney, do you find anything that we do that is not open government in the conducting of our business?
No, Your Honor, I do not, and if I thought so, I would insist that it be correct.
I appreciate that very much. Just told them this is my personal privilege. And to make a stand here in front of these families is offensive to me. These things, The time that I have given to the sitting councilman and the respect I have given to him since he was elected, and since he sits on this dais, I think is just obvious to people. I've always liked you personally, Chris, you know that. And I've treated you with respect. Even when I pointed out to you that when you were running, you lied about the fire department. And you laughed at me. I don't think it's funny. And I don't think it's funny that you say that my mayor's report is my diary. It is not. It's the work I do for the borough. And I work very diligently at my job. Not just once every 4 years, but every day. And when people have something to say to me, they know they can reach me on Saturday mornings in the library, or they can call me for special meetings because they don't want to be seen in the library talking to the mayor. I respect that privacy of individuals. In the summer, when the library is closed, I am in the library on Mondays. We have people commenting about people who passed away, who discuss things with them. I do want you to know, and I will ask my borough administrator to please note what we discussed about how many years ago about taping the meeting. Would you give a report on that again? Because apparently people don't pay attention except when they're running.
I think the first time we discussed it was before we moved into this building, so it had to be in the late 90s. We were able to get some equipment through Cablevision as part of the negotiated contract. And at that point, I think we spoke to the Board of Ed, and we were wondering if the AV class could have something that we wanted to do as a school project or something along those lines. More recently, the cable company kind of indicated that you might have to pay people to run cameras, and instead of a stationary camera, you put them in different parts of the building and have somebody physically kind of running the show as though you're filming any other show. So it's been something we talked about, well, I guess when we were first mayor.
Yes.
So that was probably
Yes.
back in the early
And I
90s.
went to the high school to talk about it because I even had my own little cable show, if you will recall, when I was in the assembly, and before I was in the assembly, when I was at the Observer, I had my own cable show to teach college children who didn't have access to television, believe it or not. And I was their mentor and marked them on the work they did on that show. When there were no classes at Fairleigh Dickinson, at New York, the NYU. So I'm very proud of the people that worked with me because they ended up in professional television and in the news media. So I'm very proud of those people. But I mean, I have always believed in open government. I will continue to believe in open government. But I will speak out loud and clear when people try to abuse the system by making the people who dedicate their time, their energy, their intelligence, their knowledge to this council and try to make them appear to be doing something that is not correct or legal. Working for a law firm does not make one a lawyer. Working in the media does not make one a media savvy on all sorts of things. Being a member of an organization should mean that you're representing the organization, not using the organization. And believe me, I have had years and years of volunteer work, and I enjoy it. I don't do it, I'm not forced to do it. And a lot of people I know on this dais have worked with me in volunteer ways. Justin and I were in the Chamber of Commerce for how many years? You were its president, I was its first woman president for 3 years. We've done a lot in town. All of these people have. And of course, Mr. LaPerry always wants to conduct surveys. He wanted to do an immediate survey. One of the first things you did when you were on this council was conduct a parking survey, right?
That's correct.
Didn't you? And turned it over
That's correct.
to this council. So I mean, we love good ideas. We love accepting things. When it came to community awareness, access for all, that they wanted a special needs recreation, didn't we immediately look into that? Pam is a treasurer of that group. We've immediately looked into it, spoke to other communities, there are only like 2 or 3 in Bergen that have it, and we were able to produce a program through our recreation department, and it's going along very well. When we receive a request to make the library more handicap accessible, right, Sonia? Didn't we work on that with the help of Michael Pronyak? Now we have that easy access door for people with wheelchairs and walkers, etc. So this council is always ready and willing to listen to and look at new ideas, believe me. But when people begin to place things like these negatives to make our town look bad, and do it almost habitually every time they run, really upsets me. Please, don't hurt our town while you're going under the guise of wanting to do something honorable for our town. And Chris, I absolutely am counting on you. I'm counting on you to conduct yourself with honor and integrity and not attack your fellow council members irresponsibly. Please, this council is not conducting anything in secret. When you wanted to speak to the attorney, when I wanted to improve the manner in which we hired people and promoted people, we went to an attorney, hired him to go through a process, and when you wanted to ask him questions, Pam joined you with him in this room. And you privately, almost privately, because Pam decided to join you. And you were in here for over an hour with the attorney asking him questions. You have every right to ask questions. And each committee has a right to function. So to say we're doing things behind people's backs is ridiculous. We have the business of the borough to conduct. So if we're going to go through pettiness and stories and putting clouds over our beautiful town of Hasbrouck Heights, I will speak out against it. I will absolutely speak out against it on behalf of this council and on behalf of the people of Hasbrouck Heights. Now you want a point of personal privilege?
Yes, I would, but right now, I just want to state that your statement is out of order according to the agenda tonight.
Of course.
And your function here is to run the meeting, not to make comments.
Oh, I can make comments when it affects my town that I live in.
Well, you can ask the floor
I had
to
a point
change
of
the
personal
agenda.
privilege and I took it.
You didn't ask.
I
Well, you
had
didn't-
a point, I can rise to a point of personal privilege and make my statement. You don't like it, that's fine. Every time you want to make a point, go right ahead. You want to now say that I don't have a right to a point of personal privilege?
Under new business, you did. And Your Honor, I just want to state to you that my concerns and what Mr. Councilman DePisa said before, I would appreciate if the agendas were put out earlier so I have a couple days to do my homework.
When you get it Friday evening, Chris, the
Yes.
same process.
But Saturday and Sunday, the Borough Hall is closed. So I have only Monday and Tuesday, and I happen to work for a
You
living.
actually got it Wednesday last week.
Yeah, and Thursday it was closed, and, right? Was Borough Hall closed Thursday? Yes.
It's closed Thursday and Friday. You know.
Yes. So for 4 days, I couldn't come here and get information. I would appreciate that in future, the agenda comes out every Wednesday, so that I can do my
That's
work.
impossible, because there are certain things that we have to wait for and get put together. And, well, it's up to the council, it's not me.
Whenever on my own phone. Whenever I have questions, I call.
And you can reach Mr. Pronyak,
I have
Mr.
called him, I
Chandler,
have called
Ms.
Rose,
Cease.
I have called him. But I work
Call
for.
today at 4 o'clock, or I'm sorry, 2 o'clock, asking me a question.
Okay, I worked all morning.
And I forwarded it to the right person.
That's all you're right.
Thank you. We'll continue, and we have no resignations, no ordinances on introduction. We have an ordinance on public hearing.
Ordinance number 2308, an ordinance to appropriate the sum of $100,000 to provide for the repair and/or reconstruction of certain portions of the sanitary sewage facilities within the borough of Hasbrouck, and further authorize the financing of the cost thereof in accordance with the provisions of the local bond law by the issuance of bonds or notes not to exceed the sum of $95,000.
I have a motion to open the meeting to the public on this ordinance only.
So,
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone wishing to come forward on this ordinance number 2308, please do so, make a statement or ask your questions. State your name, your address. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, Rose.
Now passed on second and final reading, the Borough Clerk Municipal to authorize and direct the public secretary and the same council to observe and circulate and publish the borough.
I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2308.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Zepeza.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckley. Yes. Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynn.
Yes.
Councilman Parry.
Yes.
Councilman Assembly.
Yes.
I need a motion to open for miscellaneous for the public.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone wishing to come forward on that, any matter whatsoever, please do so. State your name, your address, and your reason for coming forward. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do we need a recess to come to work? Yes, yes, no, yes, we want a little recess.
What do you think? Another one?
Well, I don't go right into it.
Right into it? Yeah. Chris, right into it? Russell?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Going right into the work session. Begin with communication first.
First is the Library Director, Mimi Hugh, requesting permission to keep the municipal building open to hold the 7th Annual Family Fun Night on August 2nd from 6:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m.
Yeah, let's do it. Does anyone have any, reason not to do this? Sonia, would you like to place a motion before we allow it?
Yes, I'd like to move that we allow our library director, Minnie Hugh, to have the 7th Annual Family Fun Night in August 2nd from 6:30 to 1:30.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Zepeza.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckley.
Yes.
Councilman Gonzalez.
I apologize. Yes.
Councilwoman Lynn.
Yes.
Councilman Parry.
Yes.
Councilman Assembly.
Yes.
Request from Hasbrouck Health Department to sponsor a blood drive on Monday, July 29, from 2 to 6 p.m. in the Central Avenue parking lot.
Russell and Pam, would you like to put a motion on the floor in a second, please, since it's your department?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to make a recommendation, we approve item number 2.
Second. Roll call.
Councilman Zepeza.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckley.
Yes.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynn.
Yes.
Councilman Parry.
Yes.
Councilman Assembly.
Yes.
Mr. John.
Good evening. Boulevard Streetscape Phases 1 and 2. We are now down to one light left. One Cobra, the PS has to remove, corner of Kip and the Boulevard, and then we can do the punch list. I spoke to the contractor today to advise him that that's where we stood and that we would be sent, as soon as public service removes the light pole and the base, we'll walk through, do a revised punch list, send it to him, and he said he will get on it right away to finish that job out. Also spoke to DOT, to advise them where that project stands, that the delays on this have nothing to do with the contractor, strictly due to Public Service Electric. So that one, hopefully will be finished as soon as PS takes that leg down, we get the contractor back in, and that. Boulevard Streetscapes 3 and 4, the contractor has finished his punch list, but again, we can't close that out until Public Service finishes removing their lights in that section of it. They have a few in that area still to remove. Hopefully when they come in to take the Cobra down on phase 1, they'll do 3 and 4 at the same time. And that. Phases 5 and 6, we're drafting the plans right now for phase 6. They have to go out for a utility review. Once we get that back, we can proceed with bid. One of the things that will have to be done is this. As of right now, the borough has not yet gotten the fully executed agreement with DOT for phase 6. What we will do is, once that comes in, we will request permission from the state to combine the 2 grants so that that project can be bid as one project. What that does is, it puts you under the time frame for the original grant, which again, we're ahead of the game on, so it's not a problem. But what it does mean is that instead of having 150,000 or whatever for each block, you now combined so that you can cut and paste from either side, so that if you decide you need to do something extra and exceeds the grant in one block, you still can use that money for it. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in it that you wouldn't otherwise have. Route 17 corridor, if anybody has been down there, you see that nothing's been done. I went down there and looked at the basin after the heavy rains that we had last week with the flooding. That rain did not have much impact on the basins, because even though the roads flood, the water only gets into that basin from the drainage inlets. It still has the issues with functioning that will not be addressed until DOT comes in and cleans it out. I mean, that is a problem. As I said at the last meeting, the overgrowth is now affecting that basin's functioning. So what will happen is...
And I did send your list to the commissioner and the deputy commissioner, and received no response.
Yeah, I mean, we put together what the problems were with it again, and these are not new. These have been the same concerns since the project was completed. The only thing that's been done that saved it is the flow channels that they put in, because that does provide somewhat of a clean route, we'll call it, for water to get to that outlet control structure. But if that basin fills, the water's got nowhere to go but that field. That's the problem. The Boulevard Curb Ramp Program, again, the streetscape project is in constructing the ramps in accordance with the ADA, so that is satisfying the county's requirement of putting them on county roads. There remain issues with an independent program of the borough doing this and just constructing ramps, which has been discussed before as far as legal issues that have come up, including trip and fall. So the rest of the intersections outside of the Boulevard streetscape remain open. At this point, you're not doing ramps on those. Woodland Park Pavilion, as anybody's been down there can see, it is under construction. The roof sheathing is basically done. The next step is to start installing the roofing material, which is the metal parts that may be up. If you go down there and look, you can see at the back where the chimney is, the difference in the framing, which is what I talked to you about, what needed to be done to accommodate the chimney. Also, if you go there and look, you'll see 2 wooden posts behind the pavilion. Again, once the slab is poured, those will be separate support posts to support the roof around the chimney. The original plans for the project called for the slab to extend 2.5 feet beyond the roof line. We met out there with Mike, Rob Brady, and that to look at possibly modifying the slab, since we now can see the roof line in that. We know that we'll call it the cooking area, is going to be covered, which was one of the concerns. It will be. So what we're going to do is we'll call it dish the slab there, provide better access for the cooking and the serving area. We're also going to put up what's called a knee wall so that there's no conflict between the column and the cooking area. We're going to extend the slab, we'll call it along the easterly side, that would be the left side looking at the pavilion, out to that concrete retaining wall, out to the timber retaining wall at a foot. We're going to also extend the slab out on the westerly side and create an embankment. So what we'll do is we'll have improved access now to all sides of the pavilion. If you remember the old pavilion, there was a step when you stepped off it, and actually the borough had posts around it so no one could step off. That will no longer be an issue. And the full front of the pavilion will be handicap accessible. So we will provide that. We've been working with DPW in that to put electricity in. DPW's already got the plumbing already roughed in for that, so once they get this done, they'll be able to get the electric in and then go forward with that, so.
And everything's gonna be barrier-free, right?
The entrance will be, the sides will be, but they're not meant to be.
Okay.
But the pavilion will be
But
fully
they'll be
barriered.
able to walk around.
You'll be able to walk, you'll be able to go around the entire pavilion, and there will no longer be a step off the pavilion. There will you'll either go directly up to the grade of the embankment, or there'll be an embankment on the other side, and the rear of it will be accessible. I don't want to call it barrier-free because that implies ramps, and that the rear of the pavilion will also be accessible where it isn't now. And again, one of the things that was able to be preserved that wasn't sure is that serving area that was behind it. So again, that will be able to stay also. So with the way the pavilion laid out, it does represent an improvement. Even though it's only partially up, I think you can see what it's going to look like, and I think you can also get an appreciation for just how involved that thing is to assemble. A little bit different than your backyard shed. So, but it is moving. Deputy Field, the preliminary plans will be going out within the next day or so to the Board of Ed and well to the county Board of Ed. We were able to incorporate all of the improvements that were requested. The only one that is a little bit complicated is the area off of Ravine Avenue. If anybody's been down there, there's, we'll call it a curb opening that's used for barrier-free access right now. Unfortunately, that also lets water short circuit off Ravine Avenue into the site. In talking to the chief in that area is used as a handicap entrance, so we have to maintain handicap access there. What we're going to do is we're going to build a ramp into Ravine Avenue, or what used to be Ravine, and into the site, and put drainage in it so that we can stop the water from getting in the field, but at the same time let wheelchairs get in and out. So it should eliminate a problem there, similar to what we're going to be doing on the top by Oldfield, because right now, again, you get heavy rain, and last week was a perfect example. It goes right through their curb opening and down the stairs and onto the field. We're going to be moving that opening further to the north and building a conventional handicap ramp so that will no longer be a problem. Once we get a sign off from the town, the Board of Ed will go to bid. The project has been set up that we can go undertake construction without interfering with any of the full scores. So there wouldn't be a problem with that, so that will work with that. And then last but not least is Coolidge. With the trees down, we completed our field work on the project. We're now finalizing the plans, going out to bid on that in the fall of the fall construction. We don't anticipate completing it in the fall. What we would like to do is get the curb and sidewalk done and the stabilized base pavement down and do the surface pavement in the spring. I've talked to several of the residents, explained to them the time frame, told them that the delays on the project were nothing to do with the borough, we're just all waiting for PS to trim the wires out of the trees, because until those wires are trimmed, we can take the trees down.
Give me the timeline again for the construction. We know the trees
Coolidge.
are down.
We intend to
We're
start
going to replace the sidewalks.
curb and sidewalk.
Curb in
And rip out the road bed. We're going to replace curb and sidewalk, rip out all the existing pavement, reconstruct the pavement, and that. What we intend to do is get the base layer of pavement down this year. That's the stabilized base. That'll be the first 6 inches of blacktop. So the road will be blacktop.
Okay, and the sidewalks and curbs?
They will be done. That's the
They'll be
first
done.
part. That's the first
You
part.
think it'll be done in the fall?
Yes.
You're going out to bid when?
Probably end of August.
Oh, okay.
But the completion, you said, will be in the spring.
Right.
The second.
The second layer, unless we get a warm fall, then we'll do it, but most likely it'll have to be finished in the spring. But the people will have pavement for the winter, and if the top pavement can't go down, we'll ramp all the driveways and ramp all the manholes.
We're very pleased with that work as it's proceeding, because it's taken us a lot of planning and a lot of work to get that
Well,
done.
we were explaining to the people, you know, this is an involved project. You couldn't even finish the design until the trees are down.
Mayor, I have some questions.
Sure.
Now, with Coolidge Avenue, how will snow plowing affect?
That's why we ramped the manholes. It's not a problem with
It's
plowing.
not a problem? Okay. Now, in regard to the streetscape,
Yeah.
3 and 4, now that covers Kip to Franklin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you noticed across from the borough attorneys, the street across, that cars must be going into that driveway because it's sinking more and more? Right where the apron is for the driveway there, across from,
I haven't noticed it, but I haven't walked the job recently, so I'll take a look
but
at
it's
it.
sinking.
What's the address, Chris? I was there this morning, but I didn't notice it.
The liquor store.
Oh, okay.
Right, first,
I'll check it
yeah,
tomorrow.
it's, if you're looking out into the boulevard, the left side, you can, obviously, cars are coming across it, because it's sinking.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay, and the thing about the cooking area on the pavilion, is there gonna be any kind of venting for that or no?
The way that, well, actually, there was never any venting there.
I know,
The
but
way-
the barbecue was outside the,
Well, the pavilion now will have a center vent in it, which it doesn't have now. So that you will have the ability for it to go up and out through natural, convection.
well, I'm just concerned about the grease going up to the roof.
Again, there's no grease going up, I mean, unless people can splatter it up that high. You know what I'm saying, that's,
Can you cook?
yeah.
Yes, I know that grease floats up.
It's said
And
that,
it can
that,
get on the ceiling.
well, you're gonna have probably 10 feet there.
Okay.
If they can splatter it up that high, then they just learn how to cook.
And the mayor and I were there for the kiddie parade, and the company was not OSHA compliant.
That's the contractor's responsibility, not Hasbrouck.
Yeah, but I hate to see the project stopped.
But that's, again, the borough has no control on that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, that's strictly between the contractor and actually it's POSHA in this case. So, but like I said, in the spec, he's responsible to comply with all OSHA requirements. The borough is not the OSHA enforcement officer, we don't do it. It puts the borough in a bad position, that's why it's in the spec that way.
Alright, so there's no penalty in the specs that if the job stops because he's not compliant?
If he's stopped, okay, because of the defect in material workmanship, then the clock still runs on the project. So theoretically, he could be hit with liquidated damages. So that is the option you've got, yes.
Okay. The only reason I question is that there's a job being done across the street from me, and OSHA was there and shut him down.
Yeah. Again, if OSHA comes out, and normally if they come out and find violations, they don't do a shutdown, they give them like 24 hours to correct it. They'll come back, and if it's not corrected, they will shut him down.
Well, that's why I was surprised, they shut the guy down.
Yeah, okay. Usually they will come out, they'll say you have to do this, this, and this, you have 24 hours.
Okay. That's what, I figured that would be decent, but they
Yeah.
didn't do it on this case.
It depends, I'll tell you in honesty, a lot of it depends, because we had a problem with a contractor in Lodi. A lot of it depends on how they respond to OSHA's comments. Because this guy, one guy in Lodi told OSHA in not nice words that they use on The Sopranos, where OSHA could go, and he had a stop work order on him within 10 minutes.
That's all I know.
I have one question
Sir,
on Burton Avenue between Walter and Division. I noticed markings, two by the curbs on the opposite ends, and then there's one in the center on the sidewalk. There's a sidewalk entrance to the church there, the back entrance.
Yes.
Is that marking an indication that they need to put in a curb there?
No, we did a survey of the church property,
Okay.
and that's just to identify survey control points. It's got nothing to do with anything municipal.
Okay.
We had the church had asked us to do a survey of their property, and the property has 3 deeds that are, to be polite, convoluted, and we have to try and figure out what the property dimensions were in that. To do that, you have to find existing control points, and that's what we did.
Okay.
Believe it or not, you're the third person to ask.
Any other questions for Ken? Thank you very much. New business, Rose?
We just have the, August 13 is the special election. I would like to request to change that meeting date to the August 14th, same time, same place.
Motion to change the date.
Second,
Second.
roll call please.
Councilman DePisa.
Yes.
Councilwoman Buckman.
Yes.
Councilman Gonzalez. Councilwoman Lynn.
Yes.
Councilman LaParity.
Yes.
Councilman Simmons.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna open the meeting to the public. Anyone wishing to come forward to ask any questions, make a statement. Please do so, state your name and address. Ask questions or make statements. Seeing no one, may I have a motion? So.
Second.
We don't need any more clothes, do we, Michael? Did everything we were supposed to do?
Yes.
Everything's done? Do we have a motion to go back into a